welcome back to Canadian Collegiate League. I am here tonight with another Premier Division match for you guys. So that is going to be the top level of competition here in CCL. Below Premier, we have Challengers and then the Open Division. So I'm super excited to get into this one, especially because we have a newcomer to CCL this semester. It is SFU Raccoons, and SFU actually did put in 2 teams here. So you guys got to see SFU Capybaras on my stream last week, so I'm super excited that I got this rematch the teams got this rematch in and allowed me to come cast this match. So we have SFU Raccoons taking on ETS Esports, a returning team here to CCL. Super excited. That is the École de Technologie Supérieure. I'm probably just gonna call them ETS for this series, but we have the players in the lobby here. We're gonna go through and get the map selection and the hero bans in. We will, of course, as always, be starting on that control map, so it will be a coin flip to determine which team is going to ban out a control map and which team is going to get to pick the control map, and then we'll do the hero bans from there as well. Hero bans are going to work the same as maybe you are familiar elsewhere. It will be 1 hero banned out per role, so we are not going to have 2 DPS banned out. We're not going to have 2 tanks banned out, or supports. If you are all up to date on where Overwatch is right now, we of course did have a slew of new heroes released this week. Now, unfortunately here on the stream, you are not going to get to see those new heroes. So CCL is giving teams a little bit of a leeway here, a little bit of a break before we release those 5 new heroes into the competitive circuit here. So those heroes are not going to be playable here tonight, but keep an eye out because they will be making an appearance in the future. All right, well, let's get to know these 2 teams a little bit. We'll see SFU Raccoons roster on the screen first here. So we're going to have Change, Robro onto those DPS roles. Hero, our tank for the night for Raccoons. Akasha and Cry are going to be the supports, the back line here for the Raccoons. And I do believe that this is the 5 rostered members. So SFU Raccoons will not be having any subs or anything like that. So this is gonna be it. So excited to see what this team can get done. Like I said, this is a new team here. They did compete in the Winter Invitational, but we're not a part of the regular season last semester for CCL. Let's take a look at the returning team, ETS. We have King DDD and Pit on DPS here. Matholite is going to be the tank, and then N2 Jardin and Ketope on the supports. And Ketope is I believe a ringer here. Actually, I'm looking at the lobby, and I am going to correct this a little bit. Matholite wasn't totally sure if we were going to be needing a ringer in here, but it looks like Ketope will not be needed, at least not for this first map. So let's update this and get the backline sorted here. It is going to be Flam in with Jardin in that backline. So excited to see this, like I said, returning team here, ETS Esports. We are getting the coin flip underway here. And I'm looking at the record that these 2 teams have. Of course, we are in week number 2, so there's not a whole lot to go off of, but week number 1 was a loss for ETS. They went up against CESU Black, which was the finalist in the last season, so CESU did come in second, losing out to University of Toronto in that grand final, so definitely a very, very tough opponent for ETS in week number 1. SFU Raccoons beating out Alberta University, and Alberta did make it into those quarterfinals in the playoffs of last semester, so pretty strong opponent here. So Raccoons really making a strong showing here in week number 1, but now they're coming up against a team that has some experience playing here in CCL as well, so we'll see how they're going to fare off against ETS here. So it was a coin coin flip that came through, and the ban is going to be Nepal from ETS. So that does mean that SFU are going to get to pick what map we go to for control center. Well, now I've just given it away. Surprise, surprise! We are going to be going to Lijiang Tower here, our control map, to start things off here. This is a best of 5, so that means it's going to be the first team to 3 map wins to claim this series here. And this, like I mentioned, this was a rescheduled match here. So this is a default days on Wednesday. So again, thank you so much to the teams for letting me stream this one and posting their reschedule in that channel. If you are part of CCL team and you want to maybe have your match casted by me, it'll depend of course on the scheduling of things, but please get it in that rescheduled channel as soon as possible. I will reach out to the managers on both the teams to get permission. I do have permission from CCL staff. I just have to make sure that both teams are okay with it as well. I am on a 180-second delay, so I'm gonna try to keep up with chat, but yeah, 3 minutes is a pretty good chunk of time, so I might not be able to catch all your messages in a timely fashion, so apologies for that. It is required by the league for, you know, safety, and we want everything to be fair here. The VOD will be saved as well. It'll be on my Twitch for, I think, 14 days, but it will be also on my YouTube as well. So everything is linked to my Discord or below in my Twitch cards. Okay, we are ready with the map. We are just thinking about the hero bans now. So ETS do get to go for the first hero ban here. And it is going to be a Tracer ban here to start things off. Now, even though those new heroes are not in play, those 5 new heroes, we are playing on the current patch here. So there have been some changes to some of these heroes. Pretty long patch notes, honestly. It's a lot to keep track of. I do know that Tracer did have an adjustment to her bullet size, her projectile size, so she's in a pretty strong spot right now, and you're able to get headshots a lot easier. So taking Tracer out of control is a big move here for ETS, especially when you have these symmetrical maps. Tracer can do a really fantastic job at just controlling one of the lanes and putting a lot of pressure onto the opposing team. So taking that Tracer out here is what ETS are going to start with here for Lijiang. So this, of course, does mean that SFU is not going to be able to ban out a DPS. So going to have to be looking towards a tank or a support here to try and make the most impact. Now, honestly, tank and supports are going to be the heroes that really kind of change the compositions that you play probably the most. DPS, pretty easy to just fit in a different DPS in place of the one that gets banned out. But with support and tanks, a lot of those heroes are really kind of setting the tone of how you're going to be playing this composition. And, well, it looks like SFU are going to be taking out the Wrecking Ball here, so definitely can be a menace on Lijiang Tower. I mean, I'm thinking specifically on Garden, where you have that big bridge on both sides. You can really get some great environmental kills. And, of course, on Night Market, where you also have all of that space around the point to just knock people off. We have ours in the chat here. We are going to be getting into Lijiang Tower very shortly here. Just going to have to swap my sides here so nobody gets confused with my overlay here, as we are going to have ETS over on the blue team. So let me fix that. All right, Lijiang Tower. Let's head into things. Map number 1, starting out now. No Tracer, no Wrecking Ball, but all kinds of action on the way. And this is a first to 3 as a reminder. All right, let's see what these teams are going to run. Garden, typically we are seeing a little bit more of kind of these dive compositions, unless you want to just bunker straight on the point. We see some Symmetro sometimes. We do have Pit hovering that right now. It could potentially just be the TP out, just to get a little bit more space here. But otherwise, Mappolite is on that Zarya. I know that that is a kind of a signature hero for him.
I'll tell you that.
And looking like the Lucio Kiriko backlines for both teams here. All right, Symmetra's being hovered for both. Is it going to be just the TP out of spawn, or are we going to get to see some sim from either of these teams? No sim for us. It is going to be the Vendetta and the Echo over on the side of Raccoons. Alright, both teams meeting up over in this courtyard. Immediately, it's going to be ETS getting themselves set up in this dojo, trying to avoid a lot of this poke damage. I mean, between the Echo and the Sojourn and the Sigma, there's a lot of poke damage to be had here for SFU. Well, the boop of Flam not quite going to connect that Echo. Ooh, okay. Robro is going to connect, though. Flam's going to be the first blood of this series. Hero falling in response, though. The tank now gone here for SFU. Mapalite alive and well. That is going to be first pack going over to ETS here. Looking to get maybe some stagger kills. Flam slipped off the map, I think. So, Mapalite has a whole bunch of charge here, but does not have a support here with him. You can see Smudge low on the Cassidy, just waiting for that passive healing to come into effect. And SFU do not opt to push aggressively here. They're going to let that flip go over. I like this. Smart play from them. You need to recognize, you know, when you need to just go for a full reset and don't get staggered out here. You don't want that percentage to go for free. It's going to be rotation through the white runes here for the side of SFU. I mean, I think that ETS is pretty okay with kind of playing this kind of towards the point. You have the Vendetta, you have the Zarya. There's a lot of damage you're going to be able to do in this falling close to the face. Right now, SFU really needs to try and find themselves some angles here. Mapalite so charged up on this Zarya. The rock does connect onto Pit, but yeah, it's a 100 charge Zarya. You were just going to absolutely rip through that Sigma. That's the beauty of this. Oh my gosh, the Vendetta is so scary. That's the beauty of this Zarya Vendetta composition, is that you get so much charge on the Zarya and the Vendetta. It's free damage as well because you're safe with that bubble. You can go in for your engages very hard here. Lots of ults coming on the board here. Hero is going to swap over to match this Zarya. So they're going to go up any of that ult charge towards the Gravitic Club. Today rushes for both sides here, and we have the Deadeye from Smudge. This grab from Mapalite is what I'm really looking for here. Cry hasn't quite been able to build up to this beat just yet. So if ETS take an early fight here, they might be able to catch somebody off guard. Akasha, she is going to start things off first, but it is the grab in response, and that's going to lock up Hero into a Deadeye. Big chunk of damage coming through here. Looks like SFU want to try and commit into this, though. It is going to be overclock from Robro. Nice little chunk of damage, but doesn't quite find anything. Akasha, she slipped off the edge. What is happening? No, unfortunately, SFU not finding their foot onto the point here, and that is going to be 100% 2-0 here. TS starting off with a point on the Lijiang Tower.
Ready for battle.
All right, I like the comp that SFU is coming out with. Unfortunately, just having a really hard time kind of opening up and finding those angles when you're taking the Sigma, Echo, Sojourn, and just kind of walking right into a Vendetta Zarya Cassidy. You're just not really going to win. That frontline damage from the composition that ETS is running is just a little bit too overwhelming for SFU. I do like Hero swapping over onto the Zarya to try and match this, but it's hard to get the same level of charge from an Echo and a Sojourn as it is from a Vendetta and a Cassidy. And we are going to have this same composition here, so the difference really being in those DPS heroes. So between Change and Robro, you need to kind of find these off angles and try and not get picked out of the sky by Smudge here on the Cassidy. Ooh, Hero opening things up, though. Pick got a little bit too aggressive. It's that one bubble to get you in, but there is a little bit of time before you can get that second one. So great punish onto the Vendetta to start things off here for SFU. It is going to be SFU getting their foot on the point first, as well as that is going to be the cap going over. Smudge has come back into the fight now, though, so there is an opportunity for ETS to start. We're all walking. Okay, the boop not quite connecting there. Cry was looking for it. We actually have ETS that have pretty much flipped the point here. Everybody's around on the outside. No ults to have yet, but a nice headshot. Not quite going to find the kill. We can see Robro just trying to build up these railguns as fast as he can. ETS have just absolutely displaced SFU from the point here. Lucio's traded out from both sides. The flip does come through here for ETS. A fantastic rotation around the back of the point. Really just put SFU into a very uncomfortable position, and now they end up very, very split here. Change does go off the edge. I suspect that is a reset here. Do have Robro falling a little bit late here. Akasha, is she going to be able to get out? Yes, she will. Has the TP ready to go. Kitsune Rush going to be the first ult online here for Chardin on the side of ETS. They're in a good position to use this kind of aggressively here. Akasha is moving up to it quite quickly as well. We can see these Zarya just trying to force out bubbles from one another. Snapblade getting close to this Graviton Surge as well. We'll love to be able to get that online for this fight. Cry is not going to have that beat ready to go, but Akasha has the Kitsune Rush, so we have ults ready to go. Both pulled exactly at the same time here. Zuzu out. Akasha manages just to keep herself alive. Hero, unfortunately, not going to be able to pick up any of that Kitsune Rush. Unfortunate. He falls back there. Don't have the range to get the TP in. Graviton Surge was committed onto 2 there. It's the team kill that comes through here for ETS. 2 ultimates committed into that fight from both teams. This change is going to swap over onto a vendetta of his own now. We do have the grab coming online for Hero here. We have Robro with this overclock as well, but the beast is ready to go for Flam. Both DPS ults from the side of ETS as well. It is going to be SFU walking towards this point, putting some pressure on it. They have this grab ready to go. Catches it out. There are 3 inside of it. The beat and the Deadeye actually inside as well. And it's just zoning out. Oh, Cry misses her head just by a smidge. Now it's going to be SFU coming back into this fight. Hero has fallen off the map. No! Oh, there is just soap suds all over the floors of Lijiang Tower today as ETS is going to be able to flip this back over. Team kill coming through for them once again. Actually, I don't think the flip even unfortunately went through for SFU. Big ults committed into that fight. Cry has the beat ready to go. She does manage to get it out. That Sundering Blade will just cut right through it. Oh, so much damage. Now, Change does get the overtime trigger here from the side of SFU. Flam is waiting, looking to try and get a boop out, but it's actually just going to be a whole bunch of damage coming through for ETS. Change is in deep, trying to stay alive versus that block. Actually does manage to create enough space for Robo to get a pick here. Trades coming through still, though, as the time is dwindling. SFU need to make sure they get their feet onto this point. Hero unfortunately falling by his own hand, as that is going to be 100% here. ETS are going to take Lijiang Tower and set themselves up 1 in this series. Play the game. Map played over on this Zarya. Consistently high charge from this hero. Oh, I say as hero falls off the map. Oh, unfortunately. Yeah, we had a heck of a lot of environmental kills here on Leash. I'll get it. It wasn't even the Lucios that were making it happen. It was just, you know, the map itself. The geometry getting the best of us here. Alright, Lijiang Tower in the books here, 2-0 for the side of ETS. Now this does mean that it is going to be over onto SFU to pick where we are going to be going mode-wise for map number 2. So it has to be a hybrid or an escort. So what's going to happen? SFU is going to select whether they want to go to hybrid or escort. ETS is going to then ban out a map from that mode, and then SFU will get the final pick. Now, a reminder as well, CCL has all of the maps in the map pool. If they are playable in competitive, they are in the map pool, save for Watchpoint Gibraltar. I do believe the Watchpoint is not included in the maps here for CCL, and that is because of the updates to the map to work with the lore. So I haven't actually personally gotten to play on Watchpoint Gibraltar yet, but I have taken a look at it, and it does change some of the topography. It allows for a little bit more access to the high ground, especially on that second point. So it does change things up a little bit. Might be added back in later on. I'm not sure exactly how long that Gibraltar is going to be in the state that it's in. I'm assuming it's for all of Season 1 in the competitive game, but CCL will probably be keeping an eye on it, so make sure you're checking in on their server to see if they do end up adding that in potentially when they add in those 5 heroes, which I do believe it is a 2-week grace period, so I think they will be playable next week, default day on Wednesday. Check the Discord. Don't take Rain's word for it. I am just the caster. Alright, well, we do know what mode we're going to. It is going to be hybrid. Definitely do see hybrid picked out more than escort here. And there is one map that is mostly the reason for that, and I'm sure everybody could guess it because right now we're really just following the script. We did Lijiang Tower, so it is now time to do King's Row. Of course it is. Midtown did get banned out from the side of ETS. Alright, so King's Row, this is now going to be time for the teams to decide what heroes are we going to ban out. Now, you won't be able to do any of the heroes that were banned in the previous map. So the other team could, but you are not going to be able to ban out the same hero you did before. So that does, of course, mean that ETS is not going to be able to ban out the Tracer. And then on the side of SFU, not going to be able to ban out that Wrecking Ball. Definitely do see some Tracer getting playtime on King's Row, although I have to say, it has been a hot minute. She's been out of the meta just ever so slightly. I feel like you can always kind of force the Tracer, but since Vendetta's come out, definitely do feel like I'm seeing more Vendetta, I'm seeing more Echo, even more Venture being played here. So, but like I said, like those patch notes came through, Tracer has a little bit kind of more damage output. She has less damage, but her bullets are bigger. So, I don't know, maybe it's a little more helpful for those of us that can't aim. I'm speaking for myself. But yeah, you can output quite a good chunk of damage here, so might be an opportunity for her to come back in and see a little bit more playtime here. Alright, no, we are still thinking about what the bans are going to be. Just a lot of typing in the lobby chat, but no hero bans coming through. So it is going to be the side of SFU that get to ban out first, as they are going to go ahead and ban out that Zarya. Mathlite being taken off of that hero. I swear he must have had about 80% charge through the entire of Lijiang Tower, so I'm not surprised, especially coming into King's Row, where this is traditionally a rush-based kind of map, you know, back in the day of some Reinhardt Zarya compositions here, so still definitely very possible to play the Zarya here on these small corners. You don't have to worry about the high ground necessarily as much, which is where Zarya kind of falls short. Granted, she does have that one perk that you can get up to the high ground a little bit with, but no, it is going to be the Zarya banned out here. Sojourn banned out in response here for the side of ETS. Sojourn's been a mainstay. I mean, she has definitely, I think with the perk, the double slide perk, really great for these maps that do have this kind of longer range, right? Sojourn wants to keep her distance, so in a rush composition where you're looking to close that distance really quickly, having kind of a double slide perk can really help things out here, and she can do so much damage. Of course she can. All right. Let's get those hero bans in so we know what we're working with here. And, oh, and we better update the score as well so everybody knows where we're sitting at. If you're just tuning in, welcome in. You missed Lijiang Tower, which went 2-0 in favor of ETS. And now we're going to head into map number 2, King's Row, coming up for you guys. ETS is going to be starting out on that defense. Ooh, the lighting. I'm liking the King's Row lighting quite a bit. Hoping that we get more of these kind of light variant maps that make an appearance. I really enjoy just kind of the little bit of graphics that they change here and there without actually physically changing the map. Maybe someday we'll get some more weather. Let it rain on some of these maps. That would be great. All right, ETS on the defense first, so they're locked in on this composition. Mathlite is going to swap on over to that Sigma high poke damage composition here. They are not playing for the speed whatsoever, so that's maybe an opening here for the side of SFU that are all in kind of on this rush composition. You do still have the Freya Echo, though, so you're looking for that kind of poke damage to come out before you engage in on a target, but SFU are going to have to walk up and put some pressure onto this high ground. If you just leave ETS uncontested up there, they are just going to rain down damage on you. Already Zero getting to that critical health, trying to stay alive, stay in the mech. It's going to be SFU putting some pressure on the point. Nice little shot, doesn't quite take down Bruh. Hero is again still low, unfortunately for the Diva. He's just eating so much damage here. All right, there's a contest onto the high ground coming through from SFU, and some pressure on the point as well. All right, Hero opening things up for the side of SFU. It is going to be Pit falling here, and that was a big chunk of damage that Freya's able to output so much. And as I say that, Robro going to pick up one, pick up two, and that is going to be SFU just more or less strolling their way on to first point of King's Row. All right. This is going to be a swap over here for the side of ETS. Smudge is going to move over on to this Cassidy. So you're going to be able to do some more damage to Robro in the sky and change actually now over onto the Genji. So you're going to be able to control the flank a little bit here with the Cassidy. Everybody from the side ETS did get this forward spawn. So going to be able to hold up close here, try and take a fight at the choke point. Support all coming online. The nano for Flam. It is going to be a caution with the Kitsune Rush first, though. The sleep cart goes a little bit wide, and Smudge just absolutely gets rolled over on this Cassidy. Not a whole lot of movement speed to work with. The nano does get out before Flam dies, so Mathlite is going to walk forward, try and take some of this damage amplification here from the nano, but there's so much mobility on the side of SFU that everybody just kites out of it. The nano does keep the Sigma alive and does build up to this gravitic flux, but your Ana in the fight here. Flam actually is going to move over on to the Lucio, Smudge over on to the Sin here. So ETS really looking to try and find what is the magic composition to try and counter out this SFU comp, because right now they're just walking forward on this payload. The test is coming through. We have the bomb ready to go here for Hero. We're going to get a Kitsune Rush first from Chardin, pushing forward. The Sim turret's really eating through this Diva mech as well. The Bolo was committed over on the side here from Robo, but doesn't actually find any final blows, just a good chunk of damage, and that is a good stabilization here from ETS. You commit that Kitsune Rush, but that's pretty much it, and you get the Kitsune Rush and the Bola out from the side of SFU. Blade coming online here for change, though, is going to be pretty big. Cry is going to have this beat as well. She could often use that kind of in the mid of that Blade just to make sure that change can stay alive through it. In terms of kind of countering that out, I mean, Mathlite does have this gravitic flux, which you probably could try for, but alright, well, he's gonna do it. Oh, but the Genji's a little bit too quick. Does end up still catching one, though, and that is gonna have Cry getting the beat out, does connect on to change, and the bomb actually, I think, committed in just to get the remake here. Hero must have been caught in that. Change and find that kill onto Jardin, and now it's just more push here on the cart for the side of SFU. You can maybe try and get a stagger kill, but everybody from the side of ETS have backed up quite a good amount here. Oh, little bit of a freeze happening on my stream, so sorry. I fear we might have a crash incoming. Give it a moment. All right. And I did lose connection for a second. All right, we're back into things here. It is going to be both these DPS ultimates ready to go for the side of ETS for this recontest. Akasha is getting close to this Kitsune Rush. Take aim from Robro. Does end up connecting on a pit, but it's alive. All right, it's going to be SFU going first here. Kitsune Rush is on the point, and it is going to be both the DPS limits ults committed here, but Pit's actually gets beaten by Hero here. Hero going to take out Pit in the meantime as well. SFU can out this Photon Barrier. The Bola connects onto Flam. The Lucio now gone. The beat now gone for the side of ETS. This is the opportunity that SFU were looking for. We are getting a little bit of an angle here. Trying to push forward. Both support ults ready to go for ETS, though. And it is going to be this Kitsune Rush out first. Everybody from SFU actually playing on the side here, though, so able to just kind of hide around the corner, wait out this Kitsune Rush. A lot of healing coming through from this, though, and that's going to allow Mathlite to push forward here, finds that opening kill onto Cry. The rock doesn't connect, but Smudge on this Symmetra is going to find that kill onto Akasha. Hero next as well, and what a stabilization here from ETS. Excellent timing on that Kitsune Rush. Even though it didn't necessarily find the opening kills with that rush, it creates the space and it allows your tank to get aggressive so you can just keep putting heals out. Alright, also Pit is over on the Mei now, so this is end the Diva, and well, ETS have won, the Diva has been ended. This is a lot of swaps coming through for the side of SFU. Change over onto the Fire Hero, over on to the Sigma.
The barriers weakened.
Gravitic Flux and Beat still ready to go here for the side of ETS. And 60 seconds on the board here. You're going to be able to build up the support ults for SFU and this Bola, but it's going to take a while for those heroes that did end up swapping. So you won't be seeing a barrage with a Gravitic Flux anytime soon. This is going to be the last chance here for SFU to really get a clean fight in and try and push forward. And now another ult just popped online for the side of ETS. Big Maywall is going to split out Hero, and oh, this is absolutely deleted. And that is going to be the Photon Barrier just to make sure that you can walk forward, get some of these stagger kills, because now there you heard it, 30 seconds on the board. Rock not gonna connect, but everything else is gonna go right click there from Pit to take the Pharah down. Anti-air May coming through, and well, now ETS have gone and built themselves up a Kitsune Rush to work with as well. Fantastic job cycling through these ultras, but there's a lot here for SFU to work with. Beat in response from SFU to save the Sigma from that gravitic block. It is just yes, happening on point here. The Bola from the side of Robro is gonna start the first to win here, and all right, SFU just rolling forward off the back of that initial pick from the fight. A team kill comes through, and with the overtime spawns, I don't think that ETS is even going to be able to get a touch here. No, of course, when that overtime happens, you have those longer spawns that come through. So SFU holding on there. I thought they were going to have one more fight, but they got a second one out, and they made that second one count. All right, it is going to be a swap over for Change back over to the Pharah, so they're going to work with the same composition here. Swapped on the side of ETS. Looking to build up this Blizzard is Pit. Now as we move into third point, it's going to be a little bit harder to get value with these walls. It's a little bit more open here, so you're going to be able to kind of walk around the hero. Starting off with the Flux, connect onto Smudge, and that is going to get the Sim taken down right away. 60 seconds on the clock. Mathalite falling as well, and we are not going to have the Blizzard committed here for Pit. I feel like he thought about it, but excellent restraint. The team kill comes through for the side of SFU, and now Hero has this high ground. Robro has built up this Bola once again. The Blizzard on the side of ETS. Smudge moving over onto this Ash. Assumed to try and deal with this Pharah in the sky. Robro does a good bit of damage there, and I think that damage actually followed up on Akasha finds headshot, as now both the DPS are gone for the side of ETS, and this is absolutely awful for them. You don't have this Blizzard. You need to stay alive long enough for Pit to get back in. All right, well, they have managed to do just that. The Blizzard not quite connecting all the way onto the cart, though, and with the boot away, it is going to be SFU completing King's Row with 10 seconds on the clock. They were not in overtime. That is massive for them, especially because that streaks phase, it looked pretty rough, but they made the swaps. They found the composition that worked. And they do finish the entire hybrid map at King's Row, which was their map pick, I will remind as well. So that's good for them to get the completion at the very least. Now, ETS going to be on the attack, and they're going to have to complete King's Row with some time in the bank. Which we believe, since it's under, well, we'll have to see if we go into overtime. I think if they have at least like not overtime, if they get more than a minute, I think they'll get time added here. So we will see what they're gonna plan for the attack here. And what is SFU gonna run on this defense? Change is thinking about it. Does he want to stick on the Pharah? It's a little hard on the defense. Yeah, I'm gonna go for the Tracer instead here. So yeah, Tracer was banned out last map, so Change gonna have the opportunity to work with this hero now here on King's Row, and it's hard to play the Pharah on defense here because it's so easy for that attacking team to just go back and swap. All right, Smudge on the Widow. Ooh, Akasha also looking for some opening shots. Neither are going to end up finding them. Smudge is sticking with it. Smudge is sticking on this Widow. Mathalite over on the Winston. I think it's another signature hero for him. Kind of cycling between that Diva, Winston, and Zarya. Change, though! Yeah, Tracer in a pretty good spot. 2 bonks on the head. 2 kills going in the way of SFU to start things out. Gotta be careful, though. They gotta know that Smudge is still on this Widowmaker. You really have to respect those angles. Also, alright, we are going to have Smudge swap over onto the Cassie, but also a Flam on this Zenyatta. The Discord orbs, of course, can be so damaging, but you really need to find a way to get the Zenyatta set up in a safe place. Flam was the one that fell first there, did fall victim to that Tracer, so now Smudge over on the Cassidy does mean that Flam is going to have a little bit more protection from those flanks. Dive on to the high ground here. It's the shield to try and block the healing, but your kinetic grasp is not going to stop a giant sword and electricity here, as we do see the high ground being taken by the side of ETS here. That is a big positional advantage to have. Pressure on the point as well. Change is still lurking around on this Tracer. We'll have the opportunity to maybe come in for a recontest. Gotta be careful though. Yeah, Pit is gonna be able to do so much damage, especially if you get that headshot onto the Tracer. Absolutely detrimental. Alright, we do have actually everybody from the side of SFU back, but 2 ticks already on the board here for ETS. Is SFU even gonna get a touch on the point? No, they are not. That is gonna be a payload starting to move here, and Robro is more or less just running for his life right now. And I think he will get out there. Really great stuff there from ETS to rotate themselves onto that high ground. Taking that away from Hero on this Sigma and Robro even on that Freya. Really, really important. And then you get Flam kind of set up safe there with Smudge as well. And that's going to be just all the damage kind of going down onto SFU, who are forced at some point to kind of drop and contest the point. Oh, great follow-up damage there from Change. That is the 1-2 combo you want to be seeing from the Tracer and the Freya. On the Tracer. Look at the pulse, but only finds a bullet to the skull from Smudge. The trades come through here though, so ETS does have to play a little bit slow here, wait for Flam to get into things. Lots of ults on the board for both of these teams to work with here. Change is going to be still walking back from spawn though, so it is going to be SFU down 1, at least for now. Have to see if they want to try and commit of ultimate here to try and stabilize, or if it's going to be ETS going first. Alright, ETS going first, but 4 ultimates committed from the side of SFU. That is actually thrown in as well here. It's kind of every ult on the board has been thrown out here, and it is going to be ETS coming out on top of that ult bonanza. And you have the team kill coming through here. We have 3 members of ETS on that cart, so it's moving as fast as it possibly could. Very healthy time bank. There is going to be time here for SFU to recontest, though. Hero has the Gravitic Flux ready to go. Not much to combo with it, but oh, and a huge Flux hits onto the Zen and on to the Winston, and the Zen unfortunately did not have that Transcendence to work with, so he's going to end up falling straight come through, though. Nice proc onto Bit, and the follow-up is there as well. That Vendetta is a big chunk of the damage that's really needed here for ETS to clean up these fights. Mikasa finds another headshot kill. She's going to be able to take out Smudge here. And Madeline trying to stay in this fight, but is not going to be able to stay alive for very long here. That is SFU coming back in, stopping this payload before it gets that second point capture here. Alright, 2.5 minutes for ETS to try and push this payload into second and all the way through third. Both DPS ults on the board to work with, trying to make it happen. Mathalite on to the Ramatra now, so does have Flam over on the Lucio as well, so a big swap over onto this rush composition to try and force out this Coke team. Alright, very low is Mathalite. You pop the Deadeye, but you just get absolutely walked down on, and Mathalite is going to fall as well. Flam does manage to get the kill on to Change. She got a little too aggressive there on the Tracer. Cry, she's going to answer back with a Lucio kill of her own, though, and that's SFU stabilizing here on second. A little bit of time burned off the clock here. Also, shout out to the Lucio, the Karopi skin. I love the music. It's so cute. Check out the Hello Kitty bundle. It's nice collab. Anyways, alright, we still have the Sundering Blade ready to go. And Kitsune Rush now as well for ETS, trying to push forward here. Big ult economy here for the side of SFU. Has been forced out. Jordan gonna use Kitsune Rush first. See the Bola shot in response to this Kitsune Rush again. The Sundering Blade out from Pit doesn't connect. More or less just making some space. So it gets very aggressive. Has to play careful though. Doesn't have. Alright, there's some feet to work with, and that is going to be great for ETS to start walking forward here. Pulse Bomb from James doesn't connect on anything, and there is that headshot downward from the Vendetta. So scary. Payload slid into that second point. And there's a little bit more time to work with here for ETS as Robro slips off the edge. I'm gonna need an environmental kill counter on this this match. I think we might be up to maybe 5 now, 6, and I am counting the ones that are on purpose because yes, of course I am. Alright, everybody from the side of SFU have high ground control. Everybody can get up there. So, what is ETS going to do to try and counteract it? You have the Annihilation, which you can pretty much just try and force the card here. At some point, SFU is going to have to drop and touch it. are going to have a little bit of a disengage happening here for ETS. Looks like Smudge is going to go back and swap. What are we going to get instead? Ooh, okay, the Symmetra. I love this. What are we going to do about this high ground? We're going to teleport up there, and we're going to take that high ground from SFU. All right, let's see. Teleporter up. It is going to be the rock in. Doesn't connect, though, as that's a pretty quick engagement here. Great swap over to Symmetra, and now you have all the space to work with. There's Annihilation coming through. Not finds Cry doing a whole lot of damage to Akasha as well. That is a team kill coming through from ETS. What a heads-up play from Smudge swapping over there onto the Sim, but you still have some space to go here. Not a whole lot of time to make it happen. Kitsune Rush almost ready to go here from Jardin, but Akasha, Cry, Hero, everybody from SFU is coming very, very close to their ultimates here, but the door is being held here. Matholite absolutely shutting down the left side. Kitsune Rush on the point here for ETS to work with, and hit slicing and dicing, courtesy of that Kitsune Rush. Round 2 gonna be completed here with 32 seconds on the clock. All right, both teams, we're gonna get a minute more to work with here. Well, unless you're SFU, you only get 50 seconds. Make with that what you will. But between a minute and a half and 1 minute, it's enough to build. It's some ults, not ult cycling, but you will be able to get some of those longer ultimates online with a minute and a half compared to 1 minute. So, even though 32 seconds doesn't seem like a really big difference time-wise, when you're thinking about terms of cycling, this is pretty good for ETS. They're in a pretty good spot. And they are going to be on the defense first as well. Not like going to be starting out on the Winston here for the defense as well. You're going to see a lot of different heroes from this tank. The Honorable Winston composition on King's Row. That's right. You get to see it. Winston King's Row. It's a CCL. We play the fun comps. Hero potentially on the Hazard? I have to say, I really do love all of the different compositions that we see as I say that Hero swaps off. But I will stand by my words that we get to see a lot of different tanks played here in CCL. And I really enjoy that. Robro, looking for a headshot. Are you gonna stick on the Widow? Oh, it's a big chunk of damage done to Matholite already. I don't know that that was the Widow, but somebody is doing damage to this guy. Change over on the Echo. Ooh, we see the focusing beam not quite connecting, but it gets caught out a little bit there, and Akasha's gonna find that opening kill for this fight. Headshot as well in passing. Making sure the hero stays in this mech. It's a very awkward spot to be taking a fight, no matter the composition of these two teams, as Matholite is going to end up falling. There we hear 30 seconds remaining on the clock here. There is going to be at least some point percentage here for SFU. This is very, very close, though. Looking like they maybe want to go in for a recontest here. Not necessarily advisable. You really do want to just kind of play for that overtime here. Matholite is back into the fight, though. So, yeah, that is going to be the point capped up here. Now, of course, there is going to be no time added here in these overtime rounds. So, that means SFU need to stay on this point. They cannot step off. Now it's all about building up to those ultimates. So, Kitsune Rush from Akasha is building up very, very quickly here. Hero taking a whole lot of damage to try and make that happen. Jardin is getting quite close as well, but that is going to be Kitsune Rush out first, but Smudge ends up finding the opening pick here. Change falling down, that duplication not going to come online. Not like it's a little too aggressive though, and in the face of a Kitsune Rush and a Diva, that's a whole lot of damage onto your Winston, as it looks like it's going to be some hard progress here for the side of SFU, and ETS is just trying to back up. He really can't afford to get staggered out here. Someone's playing safe though. They really don't want to kind of accidentally step off of this part, so they're working with what they got. They've got a big ult cyclings coming up online here. Both of the portals to the side of ETS and that Deadeye. The Deadeye very strong in these overtime fights because it's a very good zoning ultimate. And right now ETS wants members off the cart. Ivan is out, doesn't connect onto anything. Does get the P as well, making sure that Cassidy stays alive. With the bomb on the point, doesn't connect, doesn't get into the mech either, and overtime trickles down. That is ETS stabilizing here on Streets phase, and that is as far as the point is, or the cart is going to go here for SFU. Clear win condition here for ETS. It's a big task though. You still gotta cap this first point. that was a pretty strong first push there for having 1 minute for SFU to work with, to be able to cap all 3 ticks and get halfway through Streets phase. It's pretty good for 60 seconds, but like I said, there's a little bit more time here for ETS. All right, what are we going to have for the defense here? Hero's going to be starting out on that Sigma. Change, keeping us in suspense as he does. Maybe the Tracer? I don't know. It's tough to say. The Tracer can get into the fight really quickly if you do end up getting picked off first. But also very easy to kind of get picked off first, where you're not necessarily going to be playing with that Lucio kind of off angle, which you often do see with the Tracer. So Change is going to go over onto the Genji here. So between that deflect and then also being able to climb walls, going to have a little bit more survivability here. And still be able to kind of follow up on the damage, right? We were seeing Robro kind of get those initial take aims or the headshots, and then Change was kind of coming up on that Tracer, finishing off the kill. You can still do that with the Genji. All right. Same composition here on the attack for ETS. Maplay is going to be over on that Winston. Smudge on the Cassidy as well. Ooh, okay, you end up taking a little bit of an angle here, trying to force out Akasha. The TP does not go as far as she needs it to, and that is unfortunate for SFU. Lose your Kiriko early. Need to either find a trade here or get the heck out of Dodge and trying to get out, but it is just ETS barreling forward here. And, you know, I was a little unsure about Maplay kind of taking that hotel angle. That's not typically where you want to be if you're fighting with this Winston, but unfortunately for Akasha, the TP going a little too short. Didn't mean that she's sitting out in the open here. Payload gonna start moving for the side of ETS here. Hero has moved over onto the Ramatra. I like this for this point, but unfortunately you don't really have anybody to try and take that high ground away from the Winston. Hit. Has to use all of his cooldowns to get out, and somehow Maplay stays alive through all of that damage. 30 seconds, no ult on the board just yet. That first fight was just a little bit too quick, so neither team really building up to anything. Big disruptor field coming through here. He's gonna have the Thorn Force out as well. Pin falling, and that's Change doing what Change does, confirming the kills off the damage from his team. And oh, with the overtime gonna start any second now, the timing from SFU on this fight could not have been better. We are gonna have the overtime triggered, but Maplay cannot stay alive long enough for the reinforcements to arrive, and that is going to be SFU winning Kings Row and tying this series up 1-1. Fantastic on the Ramatra here. This play from ETS was so smart. The Sim TP onto the high ground, just, yeah, masterclass in composition swaps here. But not enough. The timing from SFU in those overtime fights, it's so important. If you have ults to commit, you need to make sure that you're committing them so that you can't have another fight come through in those overtime situations. And finding that opening pick onto Pit and then barreling forward, unfortunately for ETS, there's just not really a way to come back from that when you only had 15 seconds on the clock. So it just comes down to kind of one fight there, and that is it. So tied up here 1-1. We're pretty much just starting over at the beginning at this point. We're not even concerned. It's map number 1 again in this best of 3. So for map number 3, it is going to be a push map. So I do believe that we still have bans that come through, even though there's only 4 push maps to work with, but I believe that we will still have a ban come through. So it will be ETS that gets to pick that push map ban. Nope, backwards. SFU get to pick which map to ban, and then ETS, because they didn't win Kings Row, get to select which push map we will end up on. So let's see, we do just have a restart coming through here for Cry, so we'll get her back into the lobby momentarily. In the meantime, welcome everybody if you are just tuning in. we're here with the Canadian Collegiate League. Default days are on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, but for those teams that reschedule their matches, I will be here, if my schedule allows it, to do some co-streams for them. I'm super excited to get a chance, the opportunity to showcase some of the fantastic talent that we have here in the Canadian Collegiate scene. We are here with the premier division of CCL as well, so this is the top level of teams here for the Canadian Collegiate League. Right now we're tied up 1-1. ETS Esports is a returning team from Season 1. They had a pretty good showing. Didn't end up in that kind of top 4, but a really great experience and run through. SFU Raccoons are a newcomer to this season of CCL, and SFU actually do have 2 teams competing in CCL as well. So you can go check out the VOD for the SFU Capybaras match that I had the opportunity to cast last week. So super excited to have all of these new teams in the CCL. We have 23 teams competing all across Canada. So thank you so much for coming out and supporting CCL. These players are really doing a fantastic job kind of showing up. The staff have been great as well. So thanks so much to the staff for allowing me to do these co-streams. And of course to the managers as well for making sure that everybody's okay with me being in the lobby. I am on a 180-second delay, so that is a 3-minute delay. So if I'm not responding to chat or some follows or anything like that, thank you so much for being active and for following, for having some discussions in the chat. I will probably be late responding to them at all. Yeah, this is a series on our hands, for real. Both of these teams, I will say, very, very good at kind of adjusting to what the other team is playing. We're seeing not only different compositions coming out, but different kind of like play styles as well. As wow, thank you so much for following. I think that sound means that I hit my follower goal, so thank you. Thanks for being here. Yeah, I'm live at least mostly once a week. I will be over on the CCL channel most weeks on Wednesdays for the default matches, so you can catch me there for Wednesdays. And then just depending on how matches get rescheduled, I will be here on my own channel throughout the week. But anyways, I'm yapping away here because we're just trying to get everybody in the lobby. We do have all 10 players back in the lobby here. Map number 3 is going to be a push map, so we are just waiting to find out where we will go for our push map. There is going to be a ban that comes through. So SFU, because they won King's Row, that does mean that they get to decide what map comes out, or what map gets banned out for push. And then ETS, because they lost King's Row, will get to choose what push map we do go to. I feel like SFU are really kind of warmed up as well. Lijiang Tower, 2-0 going the way of ETS, and it wasn't both 100% to 0, but like 100% to 0, and then a pretty good chunk. I was 100% to like 38. So it was a rough control map for SFU. So they've really, really bounced back here, taking us into the overtime on King's Row. Their map pick, of course, that was the map pick of SFU. So it's very good that they did win out on their own map pick. I'm going to update the scores here as we do know where we are going for our push map. It is the New Queen Street that got banned out. Heartbreaking, honestly, all of these CCL teams banning out Toronto map, but it's okay. I forgive us. It's probably my least favorite push map as well. I understand. All right, we know where we're going for our third map. It is going to be Esperanza for our push map here. All right, bans coming through as well. ETS get to a ban out first. It is going to be the Diva. Oh, sorry. The lobby has just moved us over onto a different map. Wrong map. Golga Doro. Don't know that one. Must be a deathmatch map. Yeah, sorry, bans coming through here. It is going to be ETS banning out the Diva. So that is hero that's not gonna be able to play that Diva on Esperanza, which it's kind of a dive favored map, I would say, honestly. But you will see what they do end up going for. Diva ban. we have the other ban coming out. Ooh, from the side of SFU, banning out the Vendetta here. So that is a pretty good ban because we have seen the Vendetta played pretty consistently for ETS, honestly. But we actually do have Pit being subbed out. So Pit is not going to be in. We are going to have King DDD come in for Pit. Swapping out the one Smash Bros character for the other one. As, okay, we're just getting the map all set again. I don't have to look up Gogadoro. Honestly, I've never seen this map. I really don't know. I don't play any deathmatch maps. So every deathmatch map that comes out, I don't know it. I'm unaware. The last one that I recognized was Petra, which was a pretty long time ago, I think. Alright, Esperanza. We're tied up 1-1 now. We are heading into map number 3 here. It is the CCL Premier Division SFU Raccoons versus ETS Esports. Alright, let's check out map number 3. Alright. Like I said, we do have a sub coming in here, so King DDD is in for Pit on that DPS role. Otherwise, no swaps in these rosters. So, let's see. No Vendetta, no Diva. I believe King DD is a Tracer player? Yes. Alright, maybe gonna get a Tracer duel here. Oh, N12 Jardin. How you tease. If only. Yeah. No Lifeweaver gameplay. Very sad. Alright. No Diva on the field, so it is going to be Mathlite over on this Winston. Otherwise, keeping the comp pretty much the same here for the side of ETS. We're just going to sub King DD in on this Tracer. On the other side of things, Hero's gonna move over onto this Zarya here, so could be a little bit of a tough matchup here, but okay! Akasha with the fadeaway headshot onto Smudge! That's a great first pick here for SFU to start things out. This kill has been so deadly from the side of SFU. Love to see it, but the Winston is gonna be able to navigate around this Zarya fairly easily here. You really just need to kind of find your staging and get set up for things. Oh, Mathlite falling very, very low. And now, I mean, we have Robro set up on this bridge here, so it's a lot of free kind of damage to just rain down. And yeah, it is going to be ETS trying to put some pressure up here, but everybody's falling quite low for the side of ETS. Bot pushing forward here for SFU. Nice patience here. ETS are allowing King DDD to kind of get into position here on the Tracer. When you're going in for these dives, it's all about the timing. Dive in. Has been forced out from Akasha, but ETS not quite sure where that Kiriko went. Here's the Kiriko duel over on the other side. Suzu's out from both, and well, we are gonna have Jardin with some backup here, but Hero also gonna be the backup. Takes down Jardin and Mathlite, and that's gonna be SFU just continuing this push forward. Not quite getting that checkpoint just yet. There we go. Checkpoint is gonna be collected, and some stagger kills coming through as well. Forward spawns now in effect here for SFU, and they are really pushing this bot forward. ETS are just not able to kind of find their stabilization here. Pulse Bomb is ready to go here for change. Smudge moving over on to the Freya, so maybe a little bit longer range here. You don't necessarily have to get all that kind of setup for the damage like you do with the Sojourn. Pulse Bomb stick! Oh, beautiful from change. Akasha gonna take out King DDD as well, so there's no DPS on the side of ETS here, and Ken is just up forced back into their spawn here. Change, maybe waiting on that recall, just manages to get it online here. Now Flan does have the beat coming online, and Jardin is building up to this Kitsune rush as well. Akasha is able to match that. Okay, we are starting out with this overclock here, the headshot on the Flan, so that beat is not gonna be built up here. Mathlite not gonna make it into the spawn either. And I mean, SFU have come alive here. We are getting very close to the end of Esperanza. Somebody needs to push the bot. Yeah, Hero saying, get back there, we need to push this. Kitsune Rush ready to go for both teams. Almost ready to go. Jardin almost has it. be King EDB in the back line, trying to put some pressure on. They rush out onto the point. Jarden does have it, and Flam manages to catch all 5 with that feed, but the damage is already there, and everybody's stuck in that Graviton surge, courtesy of Hero. Change is really just cleaning kills up here and now, and I think this might be one of the fastest push maps that I've seen in a hot minute. We need to 3 minutes and 15 seconds here. I think we sat we definitely sat in lobby longer than this map went on. SFU on fire here on push map, and unfortunately, that is sometimes just the way that push maps go. If you are not able to kind of pick up a fight with, it will snowball so quickly. And okay, that was map number 3. So now SFU, in record-setting pace, have put themselves at a series point here. That has gotta be a blow to ETS, honestly. That was, yeah, really impressive stuff. SFU, great control of the high ground. Great job kind of with soft disengages. If they were down one, you know, you wait for Akasha to get back in the fight. The Kiriko has the TP, so she's going to get back pretty quickly. You just really need to wait for it to happen. And unfortunately, ETS, I like the swaps that came through, but could not keep up with the pace that SFU was setting. Once they got themselves up onto that high ground on the bridge, SFU were able to do a whole bunch of chunk damage, and that built up these ultimates, and then it's just about the cycling, right? You cycle through the ults, you use them first so that you can build up more ults, and ETS just got caught in it. So that is great here for SFU, but ETS do have a lifeline here. It is going to be a flashpoint for our next map, and it is going to be a ban coming through for SFU. Atlas banned out. No shock to me. I feel like Atlas is definitely the least preferred of the flashpoint maps. And since we aren't going to the least preferred map, we're going to go to the most preferred flashpoint map. I'm going to give y'all a second to see, is it a 50-50? No, Rain is just biased. It is Saravasa, our 4th and potentially final map here. This is a best of 5. First to 3, SFU dropped Lijiang Tower, but are really, honestly, just every map, they are just getting cleaner and cleaner, but Saravasa and Flashpoint in general is definitely going to play more similarly to control maps like Lijiang Tower. So ETS looked pretty comfortable there. They were doing a pretty good job kind of understanding when fights were winnable, when fights weren't winnable. And I think that with Saravasa compared to Esperanza, there's a little bit more breathing room if you don't get the lead right away. Now, you don't want to end up on like a mini reverse sweep situation. You want to get some points on the board as fast as you can, but I think that there's some time here for ETS to really just stabilize, figure out their fight plans, what went right on Lijiang Tower, what went right on King's Row also, because that was a very, very close map. It really did just come down to that last fight on King's Row in the overtime rounds that really gave SFU that little bit of an edge here. So, we'll have to see. It is going to be just waiting on the hero bans now. Alright. As I see that, ETS is going to give us the first hero ban. It is going to be the Genji. So change was over on that Genji when on King's Row, and definitely doing a great job getting those dash resets. Really impressed with the timing on it. That being said, though, Tracer definitely looked great from Change as well, and I think heading into Saravasa, Tracer's definitely going to be pretty strong here. Lots of kind of angles to control. So we'll have to see what is SFU going to respond with. It's not going to be a DPS. It's going to have to be a tank or a support here. It's kind of tough for SFU. I mean, you don't really want to go for a support ban because both these teams have been running the Lucio Kiriko backline. So unless you want to swap something up immensely, which I don't think you do if you're SFU, because right now you're one map away from winning this series and continuing to get another win here. I guess I can't really call it a win streak because we're only on week number 2. But you would love to be able to get a win for week number 2 if you're SFU. Get yourself at a 2-0 in the season here. ETS are fighting for their first win of the season, unfortunately falling last week to the number 2 team from last semester. It was CESU. So definitely a very, very strong opponent there for ETS. They would love to be able to bounce back, but another very strong opponent here in SFU, proving to be a big contender here for their opening season of CCL. Alright, we do have a ban coming through. It is a brick ban. Okay, because I thought, you know, maybe we don't want to ban out a support because you're not going to have as much impact because both teams are running the Kiriko Lucio. But, okay, banning out the break here, assuming that this means the change is going to go on the Tracer. And the break is, you know, an option to swap to try and survive through that Tracer. But maybe a little hard to say. Could just be throwing something out there as well. We do have a bio break coming through here. Do I have a nice, fun OA screen? No, I don't. We can look at the rosters again, though. Why not? Why not? Let's take a look at the rosters before we head into map number 4, just in case you missed them at the beginning of stream. We got some time now, so I really want to make sure that we get to showcase as many of these Canadian collegiate players as possible, so let's run it back. Oh, wait, we're going to adjust here because we do have King DDD out. It is going to be Pit coming, no, Pit is in, and Smudge is in, and Smudge was our. I just want to make sure I get the heroes, the preferred heroes for these players. Okay, here we go. Updating. All right, let's take a look over at ETS here. So we have Smudge and Pit, the DPS here, Mathalite the tank, and 12 Jardin and Flam the supports here. And in addition to Smudge, we do also have King DDD. Oh, Smudge, sorry, you didn't want the Tracer. I'm catching myself. Apologies. Let's correct it. I know that you wanted the Cassidy. There we go. Ta-da! Yeah, fantastic showing from this team so far. Unfortunately, a little bit of a rough one there on Esperanza, but now we're back here. Their map pick Flashpoint, and let's see what they can get done on it. Alright, let's take a look over at SFU. They're at a match point right now. One more map win, and they will pick up their week 2 victory here. Change and Robro47, the DPS hero on that tank rolled Akasha and Cry, the supports for SFU Raccoons. And well, since we're here, I mean, I know I just showed it, but here's our map set so far. So this is a best of 5. Which means that first to 3, ETS really rolled out strong on the Lijiang Tower. A 2-0, and not only was it a 2-0, the first map was 100% to 0 over on Garden, and then Night Market, very, very strong showing as well. I think that was 100% to maybe 38, I want to say. Raccoons bouncing back, though, in King's Row, their map pick. And went into the overtime rounds for that one. Despite SFU having a smaller time bank by 32 seconds, managing to secure the victory there. And then, well, SFU Raccoons just absolutely plowing through Esperanza. 3-minute and 15-second game, I believe it was. You can go back and check the VOD. You blink and you miss it kind of a one. But we're here. Back on Suravasa. Still on a bio break. Alright. We got everybody back in the lobby now. Good. Getting Argus from both teams. Suravasa map number 4. We have the hero bands as well. It is going to be the Genji and the Brigitte band out. Arson chat. Let's get into Suravasa. That's enough of Rain yapping. Let's watch some Overwatch. Well, I'll still yap. Sorry. You signed up for that one. Okay. No alligators here because Rain sadly has the lowest graphics settings on, but, you know, pretend there's some gators hanging out in this river. Okay. I suspect that we're going to see some pretty familiar comps here. The Genji banned out just means that we're going to be over on the Tracer, and the Break banned out just means that we're still going to be on Lucio Kiriko.
Ready for battle.
Yeah. No, I'm not believing it. I don't believe it. Nice try, Raccoons. Nice tricks. The TP out I'm anticipating from the sim, but interesting. I do wonder. Pate's probably going to go over onto this Vendetta. So a Vendetta Cass against Sojourn Tracer. It'll be an interesting matchup here. Change is going to have to be very, very careful because that's just a lot of damage that can not necessarily one-shot a Tracer, but it gets you very, very low, you know, one-shot melee combo. Alright, targets out from both sides. It is, once again, just a difference in that DPS lineup for both of these teams. Gonna be matching kind of on market here as both teams actually just setting up on the opposite sides here. It's an engage in from Pin. The level on, doesn't find any damage though. Does a bunch of damage done, and Flam falling very, very low. Oh, what a Suzu from Jardin. Manages to keep Flam alive through it, but still everybody on the side of ETS is very, very low. Needs to try and force out some of these cooldowns there. Just find a pick. Smudge taking a cry out with that headshot here, and no Lucio. It means that it's going to be very hard for SFU to stay in this, and especially finding a second one here for Smudge. Not going to be too bad here. It's an immediate swap here from Change over on to a Vendetta himself. First point percent building here for ETS, and definitely on these Flashpoint maps, you really do want to try and get the first percentage as fast as possible. It builds up so quickly here. Just a matter of burning down the clock now if you are ETS. Engage in from Pit, has the bubble, but everybody has backed away from that. A lot of respect being shown here. Sword fight happening. Change dashes through, manages to get that mega health pack. Hero, though, picking up 2, and Matholite is down here for the side of ETS. This is an opportunity for SFU to walk forward, and they're going to do just that here. Just the Cassidy and the Kiriko lurking around for the side of ETS, and we'll be able to get out alive. 75% on the board here is a great start for ETS, especially leading in these ultimates as well. Chardin is going to have this 93. He's going to be able to build up to this Kitsune Rush very, very quickly. Akasha really lagging behind on this one. It's the Deadeye to open things up. Just trying to make some space here as we are going to have Hero. Not quite fall into that. Gets a bubble out here. Kitsune Rush on to the point here. It is going to be trades out from both teams. We are going to have the overclock coming out from Robro and try to make something happen for it. Now the flip did come through for the side of ETS. Meanwhile, though, as I say that, immediately the flip comes back. SFU are not giving this one up for free. Hero trying to build up to this Graviton Surge. Akasha almost has this Kitsune Rush as well. This is so back and forth. Both these teams showing so much respect to the other one. Need to have these reinforcements arrive. And it's going to be the grab out here. Catches on to 2. Overtime has been triggered. Great beat out from Flam. Smudge just staying alive through that. Flam's going to take out Hero as well. Trade still coming through though. The overtime is in favor of ETS, which means SFU needs to put somebody on the point, but it's just Cry, and she gets moved away, and there's not going to be another touch there, and he's going to end up falling. Akasha has nobody to teleport to. As ETS starting out with a point here on Suravasa and holding on to this Graviton Surge. That was a very expensive fight from the side of SFU, but you have a beat that you can use in response to this grab. You gotta be careful. You don't want Pit to be able to build up to the Sundering Blade, though, because it will cut right through your sound barrier. We're over on Garden for point number 2. Engage in from Pit. Oh, actually goes for kind of the counter dive onto Change. The grab connects onto both supports from the side of SFU, but that beat from Cry comes online just in time. Smudge with the Deadeye has a bubble, keep him alive. Oh, but it's not going to be enough. The damage comes through. Hero cleans up that Cassidy. Point briefly in favor of ETS, 13%, and that's going to be SFU picking things up. A lot of back and forth between these two teams. Very close, as now it's going to be the Sundering Bleed available for both sides. And that's all that these teams have to work with here. Let's see. It has been pretty good about going first with these. It's going to be engaged in the bubble to help, but it is changed. It pulls out that blade first. Good chunk of damage onto the Cassie, but the healing is there from Jardin to make sure that Smudge stays alive through all of it. Plan a little bit split, has the bubble to make sure he's alive here. And test is happening on the point, but ETS, a lot of pressure on them to clean this up quickly. Pit coming around the corner looking for something relative to connect, but it does create the space that ETS really needed. And of course, the Kitsune Rush can help with that a little bit as well, as that is going to be the flip coming through here for ETS, and it's a disengage on the side of SFU. Akasha has built up a Kitsune Rush of her own, and Robro with this overclock as well. Potentially a nice combo for them to come back into this. 70% is not last fight territory, but it's going to be a pretty messy last fight if SFU can flip this over, and then ETS are forced to just kind of run back into things. Ooh, the little loop-de-loop here! Robro kind of catching them off guard. Everybody tried to collapse onto the Sojourn, and that was just the rush on the point from Akasha. SFU walking forward here, and now the pinch coming through here. Robro pulls out that overclock. 84% here, and stagger kill. Sorry, yeah, that's the team kill coming through here. I say stagger kill, but it's still almost a wave spawn. 1-1, we are tied up on Surabasa. Okay, Palace. Point number 3. A short little hop, skip, and a jump over to this point. Now, ETS are going to have a little bit of a more favorable spawn here for this point. Beat ready to go from Flam, waiting for the engage. It's the bubble on to the Vendetta, the Lucio in, but yeah, the bubble just absolutely gets melted down there as the high ground really being controlled here from the side of SFU. It's a solo grab onto the Zarya. No, okay, Pit finds his way into it as well. Beat from Flam, trying to make sure Smudge can walk forward, get some damage in, damage done, but the beat out from Cry makes sure that nobody from SFU is going to fall victim to that Data Eye. Point flip actually goes over the way of ETS there. I'm not sure how they flipped onto the point. Grab out from Mathalite. You have lost Flam early here, but are you going to be able to find the kill? Yes, the trade comes through here. Change out of the fight. Change has that Thundering Blade almost ready to go as well. Oh, 1 second cooldown on the bubble though, when Pit is going to fall here, and Hero is very charged up, able to do so much damage on the Mathalite, and going to be able to do a good chunk of damage onto Smudge. Robo finishing that kill off, as that is going to be the flip over here for SFU. 34% on Palace for ETS to start out with. Good. Kitsune rushes from both sides. Ooh, okay, quite the rotation coming through here for ETS. Fairly telegraphed though, as SFU are going to be aware where they're coming from, but it's a little angle for the Kitsune Rush. I mean, both teams knew that Kitsune Rush was on its way. It is the TP out here. Change has the Thundering Blade ready to go, charging it up, cuts right through that Zarya bubble. Needs to stay alive though. You're up 1, alright, now you're up 2. It's looking a lot better here for SFU to hold steady here on Palace, and there's going to be one more opportunity for ETS trying to recontest Palace. Oh, the go TP out just in time, but Smudge does not have the luxury of a free TP out. The Cassidy does end up falling, and that means that there's not going to be a touch. There's just no time. Second point collected here on Surabasa for SFU, and they have set themselves at a map and match point here. Ruins. Our sub-map number 4 here on Flashpoint. Now, ETS are going to get set up first here, and once again are going to have a little bit stronger of a spawn advantage. It doesn't help them out on Palace all that much. It's all about controlling this positioning now. Grab ready to go here for Hero. ETS also been online for ETS. It's just taking a little bit more time to really make that happen, and Flashpoint is going to be opening quickly here, and it is the rotation from SFU moving over onto this point. One bubble out, and Mathlite gets solo grabbed and absolutely deleted. The body block from Hero to make sure no healing going over onto that Zarya. And if ETS don't find a trade quickly here, they are going to have to back all the way out here. Point has been captured by SFU, and Flam falling as well. It is the get out time for ETS. Maybe try to get a fight and kill. No, not in the face of a Vendetta. Alright, SFU building percent, still holding ults. Overclock and the beats ready to go, but both those DPS ultimates now. Ooh, actually, okay. Yeah, Smudge gonna give up the Deadeye, move over onto the Reaper here. So, I mean, Vendetta, Reaper, Zarya. If this isn't blow up hero composition, I don't know what it is. And now, ETS really just playing to get these bubbles out. Alright, it's engaged in the beat from Flam. He's on to 5. Oh, he's good for 5. Beat though from Cry. She's finding 5 as well. Pit is going to end up falling to change, though, that Sundering Blade also committed. Didn't really find any of that damage that was needed. Flap does end up punishing change, but all of this space is just being controlled by SFU and Robro on this Sojourn. The aggressive slide in. A little quad kill here for the Sojourn. And 96%, there is not going to be a touch. The team kill to finish out Suravasa and our series. SFU pick up the victory here, week number 2, with a 3-1 against ETS Esports.
Play of the game.
Really great showing here from SFU. Fantastic adjustments being made from both teams throughout this series, but when it came down to it, SFU just a little bit cleaner on their engages, on their responses to the plays that came out from ETS. So although SFU did end up dropping Lijiang, bounced back with 3 wins back to back to back. And they will take their series for week number 2, and now I'm gonna say it, they're gonna start a win streak. They did win week number 1 against University of Alberta. Unfortunately for ETS, this does mean that they are now 0-2 in the regular season, but there is still so much more time in the semester to come back from this. I know that this ETS team has lots of synergy between them. Their compositions looked really good, and the flexibility in their hero pool, not only individually, but kind of as a roster, really synergized well together. Some fantastic plays. The Symmetra play, 3rd point, King's Row, to teleport up to the high ground. Seriously, very, very smart plays from this ETS team. SFU, though, a little bit too fast for them and a little bit too aggressive for them. So, fantastic job to both these teams. Thank you so much to both these teams as well for agreeing to let me co-stream their match. Had a lot of fun watching this one. A lot of back and forth. Despite this being a 3-1, it was still pretty close for most of those maps. Yeah, thanks everybody that showed up to support CCL. I will be back here next week. Oh, well, no, sorry, it won't be on, better check the Google, I live and die by my Google Calendar, but next week I will be on the CCL stream on Wednesday, and I believe I don't have a co-stream scheduled just yet for next week, but I'm gonna check in on the rescheduled channel to see if there's any that we can fit in. I do have a co-stream locked in for the 24th, the Tuesday, so we will have a match then, but hopefully I'll be able to get another co-stream in next week. So if you are on a CCL team and you need to reschedule your match, please get it in the channel so that I can reach out to you and maybe try to get you on the broadcast. So thanks again, everybody, for showing up, supporting the Canadian Collegiate League and all of these awesome players. And I will hopefully see you next week.